going to start by asking you to introduce yourself. Hilary, obviously I know you really, really well. I used to work with Hilary years ago. It seems like years ago, but we had great fun. We were at Bella Italia together back in the day. So yeah, if you could start, Hilary. If you two share a microphone, and Romy will share as well. That's okay.
Cool. Yeah. Is it on?
It's on. Yeah. You just have to have it quite close to your mouth. Okay. Yeah, like that.
So I'm Hilary. I've been in the hospitality industry for many, many years. Worked with a variety of different brands. Bella Italia, Marugami, Carluccio's, Gordon Ramsay. And then I moved into a more fractional career about a year and a half ago. So I was fractional marketing director for Wasabi, and then I've been working with a variety of other smaller growing businesses for the last year and a half. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm Katie. I look after CRM and loyalty at Itsu. Slightly less of an expansive career, but I actually came from the fashion and beauty industry prior to hospitality. But I really enjoyed the move. It's definitely very.
You'll never go back now you've come to
No, I don't think I
hospitality.
will. No, I'm very much enjoying it. And yeah, Itsu has been a great company to work for. Yeah, it's a brilliant brand, which was we thought, no,
I will.
Hi, I'm Romy. I'm at Knoops, and we do the world's best chocolate drinks. And I used to be at Gales for quite a long time, and before that, I was in advertising for a long time.
Okay, so we've heard from some great speakers this morning. And I'm going to start with Dan because he was on the last. And Dan, I remember the days when you set up PowerText. I mean, that's how long I've been around as well. So it's a very long time.
Yeah.
But we've heard about, obviously the importance of CRM to drive frequency, to deepen those guest relationships. What have you all done in the past that's different to now, to say pre-pandemic? What's evolved as well in your businesses in terms of the whole CRM loyalty piece? Kate, I'll start with you as you've got the microphone, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So at Itsu, I guess we kind of had quite an entry-level sort of loyalty program. It was very transactional, quite simple. And we did a big piece of work towards the back end of last year where we upgraded our loyalty program based on the feedback from our customers and our shop teams. So we really made our rewards a lot more generous. We added a few things on top, like birthday rewards, double butterflies when we visit in the evenings. We talked a lot about the value exchange, so really creating a stronger value exchange for our customers. And then I guess thinking about like that emotional kind of connection that we talked about earlier, really getting our shop teams on board as well, because I think customers expect a lot more these days for their hard-earned money, and they expect that more human connection when they choose a business to spend their money with. So we brought our shop teams on board with a big engagement campaign, and really we pride ourselves on our hospitality at Itsu, and we receive great feedback from customers around that. So that is the kind of added element that we kind of drive that promotion and connection to.
Can you just hold the mic near to your mouth? Sorry. Can everyone not hear it? Might just be
Okay. Okay. I think what's different now, the question is what's different now
What's
versus
different
the
now?
past.
Yeah, what's working now? What's worked in the past that you're still using? What's working now? What are you doing?
Okay, so I think what's different for us is that a few years ago, the great thing about CRM was that you could have segments and cohorts and customization. Now it's inbuilt into the offer itself, so there's so much more data, and we can have a lot more richer knowledge, I guess, so that we're building it actually into what we've delivered to customers. So CRM has a more focused use case now, I think, around nudging behavior as opposed to being the great hope around the customization itself. So it still, of course, allows for customization. I think you've got to do it from the structural perspective, not only rely to the CRM.
Yeah, no, I think the bit about it being much more behavioural now is like absolutely what I was going to say, but I think that also kind of leads on to, so in the old days it was, I'll use the example I used the other week, Joe, as well, but let's send a kids eat free out, send it out to the whole database. Yeah. Absolutely, we should not be doing that now, because you're putting off as many people as you're encouraging in. But I think what we're starting to see now, we are getting a more holistic view with more channels linking in and more of that data actually being turned into insights about the consumers' behaviour, everything linking in. So now we're getting to the point where we can push back, and we're not just talking about open rates of emails, we don't have to anymore be talking about we did this campaign and it delivered Y. We can be talking about we did this campaign and then this, and this automation set up in X and Y, and we can see over the last year that we're driving our regular customers in 14% more often, so we're able to start showing more real business impact in ways that people outside of marketing want to hear about, which I think is a big unlock for us.
So just thinking about how do you build the right type of insight capabilities so that you can help start to drive repeat business? Because repeat business is a really important thing, and that sort of whole lifetime customer value, rather than just having like to your point here, just having this is the stat, it used to be like this, and this is how we do it, and this is what we've done, and actually having that more enhanced look at it. How do you do that now? I'll start with you, you've got the microphone, don't mind.
So 2 examples for this one. So Marugami, so we started Marugami, and it was an unusual circumstance because how often do you get to build a restaurant group literally from scratch? So heavily invested in CRM and in loyalty, literally before we had any restaurants, before we'd signed the first lease. I managed to convince the investors that we needed to pay for this because this was going to be a key part of the market launch strategy. And I just relentlessly kept on that. So when we opened the restaurant on day 1, we had 12,000 club members. Just kept linking everything that we did to that and just made it a part and parcel of that's what you do at Marugami, you join the club. You unlock all those benefits and try to make the club about more than just collecting points. There's surprise and delight, there's rewards, you feel a part of something. If I roll forward from that, 3 years we had 325,000 club members, and the thing that I was most proud of is club members accounted for 22% of transactions going through the till, and there's Elliot over there who did all of this as well. So once you've got 22% of transactions going from the till, then you can stop guessing or stop assuming and actually see the data happening, prove it, and again prove it to investors, prove it to everyone else to keep unlocking that value. The other one, more recently, I worked with a little gelato brand who had just launched a loyalty club. Their participation was 4%. And it was a good club, they'd done everything right, but what they hadn't done was make it live and breathe. So if you went into the sites, nobody was talking about it. And if you've got 4% participation, you can't trust that data, you can't make assumptions on it. So
it comes back to Katie's point about engaging the team as well.
Yeah. So but by engaging the team, and again, making sure that their marketing team are being really friggin' relentless on talking about it, incentivising a bit of competition between sites. Got that in 3 weeks up to 14%, and at that point it becomes data that's actually valid and can turn it into insight.
I think I heard your question as that space in between that we were talking about in the beginning. So I think about, what do we talk about? We talk about, of course, the loyalty data. We talk about the revenue data. We talk about the satisfaction churn data. Something I often talk to Katie about is the call. I think the call is really important because it's so super easy and addictive to get into the weeds on the number data, but I think you need to talk to the people data as well. Does that answer the question?
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, we've got plenty of other questions. So we'll keep going.
Great.
Yeah, I think sort of echoing what both of you said, we work very closely with HM actually to bring in all of our customer sentiment data into one sort of platform. So to be able to track Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews, our mystery shopper reports as well. And that really is a great insight because it lets us sort of be a bit more strategic about operational decisions in our shop. So we can sort of spot trends that are emerging and things that are in a positive way and a negative way, so that helps us be reactive and also improve the customer journeys as they come back. But then also we work very closely with Actiol to make sure that everything that we do is tested and improving the value. So we're trying to add control groups where we can and improve incrementality through the results so we can prove to the business that the investment is working and we are driving those repeat visits.
Great, thank you. So we heard from Natalie around how guests define value, why they stay, why they leave, and so on. How can you build a deeper relationship that Katie touched on in her slides as well, without, sorry I've lost my track of thought there, beyond points and discounts? So how do you develop that deeper relationship without just relying on loyalty per se?
Yeah, we actually have a great initiative at this where we introduced fortune cookies. So our team members, if they have an interaction with a customer to kind of that little surprise and delight element, they can give away a fortune cookie, and it's just like a really positive moment that makes a customer feel really like valued when they kind of leave. Also, we can add it into a loyalty transactional. Here's a little extra for you. So that's kind of one way that we do.
Yeah, surprise and delight is great. And Dan, you touched on surprise and delight as well. I think it's a great way to engage the guest in what we're doing as well, beyond that scheme. Romy.
Remember that travels. I think we do it through storytelling. So I think it's really rich to be able to tell emotional stories. If you get too functional, it doesn't really resonate with people. You can't get stuck in someone's brain if you're overly functional. So storytelling, absolutely. And while that sounds like logos and pictures or a marketing gig, I think that's really something that has to be a whole business priority because if you don't get the teams excited and they don't talk to the customers about it, everyone needs to feel like they're working for something really special.
And the Knoops story genuinely is an amazing story, isn't it? So having
Storytelling
is absolutely key. And I've obviously had William on stage with me, your CEO.
Who's the master storyteller? So everyone's storyteller in their own ways.
It is a genuinely great story of how Jens started the business in Rye, in like Sussex, a stupid little I didn't actually know where Rye was. I had to look it up on the map before I interviewed William.
Have you been?
I haven't been to Rye yet, no. No, I haven't been yet. I'm still waiting for Cheltenham to open.
Okay.
Thank you, Hilary.
Yeah, I absolutely loved what Dan was saying about linking everything up. And I think years ago with a brand, I tried to do that, and we got to a really rudimentary view of it where the customer came in the restaurant and you were able to say, hey, welcome back. And you knew that they'd been there 3 times, and you were able to offer them a bottle of the new Sauvignon Blanc because they always had a glass of the cheap one or whatever. But I think what's going to happen in the next couple of years is going to be so revolutionary. It's so exciting. I think there's also going to be something really exciting with, I can't remember if it was Dan or someone else saying NPS. If we start linking NPS into that, I think one of the things that I've always talked about is if a customer complains and leaves a low NPS and you send them a voucher, you're like, oh well, that's resolved. But soon we're going to be able to find out, well, did they come back? Did they give us a higher score? How has that changed their behaviour in the future? And I think when we link all of that together, so powerful.
No, that's great, thank you. What role does social media play in sort of making this connection with your customers?
Well, I loved your slide with the flyers.
Yes.
Because it reminded me of, I don't know who's getting old, I'm very old. And when social media started, actually I was working at BBH, still is the world's greatest advertising agency. And we hired this really, really cool guy. He was amazing. A guy called Jason Gonzalez, really great. And Jason was like, the future in human form. And he stood up in the agency on the big atrium at BBH, hundreds of people, and he said, I'm going to tell you what social media is. And he said it's just talking to a human. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, how did we get from the head of Twitter and everything's so sophisticated, but actually it's just about talking to people and doing it in a way that, back to the storytelling thing that makes people remember. So social's super important. Again, it's about having something interesting to say rather than just something to say, because everything's so fleeting and forgettable, and you just got to be interesting, entertaining, or relevant.
So I used to say a few years ago that Instagram was your shop window, which was my analogy for a couple of years. I think that's absolute crap now. Like perhaps it was, but now I really love the analogy of the long distance relationship. And yeah, that is exactly what it is, isn't it? You're just talking to a human, and it's one of the ways that you can connect with them between the times that you actually see them. So that's my new language. Well, but not in the sense of it needs to look beautiful, and it's just when people are walking past and taking a look. It's so much more than that. I think you don't have a relationship with the shop window, but you need to be talking and engaging.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think your social platform is almost the personality of the brand. It shouldn't be like, we had a presentation from our social team a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, it shouldn't be a news bulletin board, which I thought was a really great point. And yeah, I mean, we've posted some quite bonkers videos recently, if anyone's seen some of the old Wheelstone Raider being rolled out for Itsu. But they're really great at bringing people in and new customers and raising awareness, but then people feel like they can buy into the brand through our beautiful food and videos and things like that, and then they can buy into obviously the loyalty program and the new menu launches and things. So yeah, it's all about that personality, I think.
And Romy and Katie, you've both got out of homes where you've got your supermarket lines, and you did that, would have done that within Wasabi as well. How do you resonate that loyalty when somebody buys in retail versus then getting them into store, or vice versa? How do you manage that with that?
It's a bit of a journey, really. I think first of all, like as a brand, we really want to access customers where in the place that's convenient to them. So whether that's by delivery or catering, which was talked about earlier, or whether it's through the grocery offering in the supermarket or restaurants. Loyalty is something that we're kind of trying to figure out amongst all of that. There's a lot of brands now doing loyalty through delivery platforms. We've been looking in the past at how customers can earn and burn through the supermarkets, and then spending their rewards in our restaurants to just tie it all together. It's a really complicated technical setup, which is quite difficult to navigate, but I think it's something that we'd love to get to in the future, just because it's what our customers are asking for, and the brand then becomes open to a lot more people.
I think there's different ways you can do it, though. I mean, type of group, which I include myself, talk about loyalty in terms of like a click and a number and via my email. But I buy your grocery stuff much more than I buy in the store, just because of convenience, exactly as you say. But loyalty doesn't need to be that collecting point, because I would argue, I reckon most of your grocery customers are not necessarily after the same type of reward mechanism for buying those spring rolls are like $6.95 at my local when they're available, and so it's like a different value proposition. So I think you can run a competition on pack. There's lots of different ways that you can capture loyalty that isn't so linear, and so that's how we approach it. When we sell it in premium retailers, it's an at-home product to make chocolate drinks at home, but it's totally different than what we sell in our stores where we make you the drink. But my hopes and dreams are that people will see the pack, engage with the product in the pack, and that will engender some kind of loyalty. Loyalty is the repeat custom of a person to a product, right?
It's that emotional connection we talked about as well.
Yeah. But in the linear definition of loyalty is doing something again, is a frequency metric. So if that's, or an infinity metric, I guess, so that's what you need. You don't need to give someone points. You need to give someone a reason to believe.
Hilary.
Yeah, and so at Wasabi, I think, so we started off as a restaurant business way before I was there. Built the grocery business. The grocery business has a lot more outlets than the restaurant business, so which is very London centric. So there it was, how do we use grocery to get the brand front of mind for like future expansion and start to get markets wanting and knowing who Wasabi is.
And what help? On the question again. What does a local and community play in driving that sort of emotional connection to the brand in terms of engaging people? How do you do that within your businesses? Or what's your experience of having done that in businesses you've worked for a while working with now?
I think local is massively important because that's the site and the humans that you're actually, as a consumer, interacting with. I think the thing that has been apparent in every business that I've worked in is it's really damn hard to do because it is so local, and you can't assume that every site is the same. Consumers in different places are different, they've got different experiences, looking for different things, so it's how you flex whilst keeping some of the threads running through most specific examples.
Yes, I feel the same way. I guess my spin on it is you need to think global, act local, in the sense of being able to simplify, codify the things that you're doing on a really local level. But you can't do everything everywhere all at once, especially when you have a critical number of sites.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also like empowering your shops and then other teams to almost act as like entrepreneurs within themselves, and like, this is your business, you know the area best, and you really know like the opportunities within those areas. And we did do one great local initiative recently for our opening of our Manchester Spinningfield store. We ran a run club event and had I think there was over 100 runners that came into our store and had sushi afterwards. And it was a really great sort of way for people to make friends and connections within the community, as well as then also getting to know the store team and just building that loyalty connection, emotional connection. So we try and do some things like that feel really on brand. But yeah, it's hard to do that in every store. So it's being targeted and strategic about that.
But it is also, as you say, about empowering the teams as well, isn't it? And as a former head of local marketing working for Hilary, we did some bonkers things, didn't we? I came up with some really bonkers ideas when we were opening. We did 28 new sites in 9 months, and it was fairly full on. And we did some bonkers things like canal boats down the middle of Reading Canal with a go compare looking like he's singing opera with a big Bella Italia sign down the side of it. I mean, that was probably one of the most bonkers things I did. But anyway, that's me. And Katie's going to start shouting at me in a minute. Final question: what brands are you loyal to, and why? It doesn't need to necessarily be a hospitality brand, but what brands are you loyal to, Katie?
Well, going back to my beauty roots, I actually love Liberty. I think I was actually signed up to their beauty subscription box, which I love because you get the samples and then you also get credit to spend back in the store. And then they have so much added value on top of that, but they do it in a really premium way. So like this week we're doing like a members week, and you can get facials if you go into the store and stuff. So they sort of maintain that beautiful elevated brand image, but then also add lots of value for the customer, so you feel like you're getting a lot back, which sometimes with more luxury on the brands you don't really get. That's fun.
I like this question. Besides Knoops, where you can always get a wonderfully consistent chocolate drink, perfectly customized t-shirts. I love, I don't know if anyone's been to Simpsons yet. I love Jeremy King. Everything. And the Jeremy King restaurants are perfectly pitched with excellent service and excellent ambiance every single time. And another example, I think, is which some of you will relate to more than others, is my chosen place to get my nails done. I live in London. There's a million places to go. And I think something like that is always interesting because it's such a cluttered space. You could go to, and you could choose to go anywhere. They're all within a couple of pounds of each other. But I'm loyal to that brand because I think that they deliver a slice of service that is different. Because it's calm in this case, which is something that I like. Other people like really chatty vibe, it's different. So I think it's about finding a brand that suits your need, the customer need. Hilary.
Okay, so this was easy to answer. All my friends tell me I'm a member of a cult. But third space. So gym, but it's not just a gym. It's like part of a lifestyle. Like all my friends are there. I have to keep going because that's where I see my friends. But yeah, the experience is amazing, consistent, always going to be good. They recognise you as you walk in. Interestingly, I don't think I open their emails, but I open the app like 3 times a day. And I love that on the app that I've got my 112-week streak, and I'm so proud of that. And you win your badges for how many classes you go to and stuff. And I've got a hoodie in my bag because I'm always wearing their merch, so I think I'm definitely in the cult.
Sounds like you're very sort of wedded to them. 112 weeks, that's pretty impressive. Well done you. I think we're done. Thank you so much for